Hello friends, this video on metal and non-metal part 1 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. What we will study? We will study metals, physical properties of metals, non-metals, physical properties of non-metals, chemical properties of metals, chemical property of non-metals, ionic compounds, extraction of metal from ore. We'll also study refining of metals. So the first question that comes to our mind is, what is a metal? Right? What is a metal? Metals are substances which are electropositive in nature. Electropositive in nature, that means they have tendency to lose electron. That means they have extra electron and they want to lose it. So the generally why it is they have tendency is because in the valence shell they have one extra electron. So we'll study all these things in the next two chapters, where we'll explain the structure of the atom of the elements and how it is stable and what is the property of that. So just now you understand that any element which has tendency to lose electron, for example sodium has a tendency to lose one electron and becomes Na plus, because this is more stable, this is more stable and this is not stable, and we'll explain this maybe in the next two chapters why this is more stable. So any element which has tendency to lose electron to become more stable, those elements are called metals, right? All metals except mercury are solid. So generally you take any metal, gold, silver, sodium, potassium, they are all solid except mercury. Mercury is an exception, right? So because the primary definition for us for a element to be metal is that it has tendency to lose electron, and then we observe that all the metals are solid except mercury at room temperature. We are talking about the room temperature actually. Now the question is, why should we study metals? That should come to your mind. Why should we study metals? Why are we doing this? So the various obvious answer is, if you see this, all this ornaments, jewelry, the king crown or your mom's jewelry, everything is generally made using metals. It may be gold, it may be silver, right, copper, but generally these are made of metals. The hammer which we use in our house, this also is a metal part. Why? Because it has more density. We'll learn the physical property of metal, but now you can understand that the hammer, this part is also metal. The nails which you use, it has a critical role. You make furniture, nails are required. Nails are very much required. So that is also made of metal. The wires which are used for fencing is also made of metals. The guns which you see in movies, the police people use the guns to protect ourselves, they are also made of metals. Most of the electrical appliances, if you see, are made of metals. The body of the fridge and a lot of entry parts are also made of metals. If you see the wire which conduct electricity, which transmit electricity from some power station to our house, these things are also made of metals, because metal is a good conductor of electricity. We'll learn that. The trophies and all, normally, they are made of metals. The car, any automobile, maybe bike, the bike you ride, the cycle, all these has metal involved because they need strength and those kind of stuff. So they all need metal. If you see most of the car, the body is made of metal. The watch we use, right, that is also has metal. Sometimes it has a metal case. Even if you take a plastic watch, it has some element inside it which is metallic. So metal are used in a lot of places. So if you see in our day-to-day life, we do use metals. And if you talk about your jewelry, if you talk about the car which you use, the bike you use, the electronic appliance we use, the electricity we have, the furnitures, a lot of places we use metals. And that's a good reason why we should study metals, because if we are using metals, we should know metals, right? So let's understand a brief history of metals. You will be surprised to know a lot of stuff. The first metal that was discovered was gold, and that was very, very old in BC, almost 6000 BC. And that is because gold is non-reactive and it exists in the free form. and there was a craze for gold. It was costly also, and there used to be a group of people called alchemists. They used to believe that they will find something called philosopher's stone, which can convert everything to gold, and there were a lot of studies done on that, but nothing happened. And after that, they found something similar to gold, looks like gold, that is copper, and then silver, because these are generally inert, you can say metal, they don't react much. And then they found lead, then tin, iron was used in this age, and this is what we called Iron Age, right? Iron Age. And then mercury was found. All these metals were found in the BCs. If you see the platinum, antimony, bismuth, zinc, arsenic. And then after that, all these metals were found. If you see, aluminum was found in 1827, very recently. So if you see, it took so long to find these metals, but these were found just because they're less reactive. And then they found all these metals. If you see, silicon was found in 1823 only, and this has critical. You can't say silicon is a metal. Silicon is neither a metal nor a non-metal. It has a, I mean, the debate goes on. Some people say it's a metalloid. So anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that it took time. It took time to find metals. Only if you see 6,000 or maybe 6,000 before BC, the only metal known was gold, and then they come to know about copper, and then they came to know about something called iron, 1500 BC. They called Iron Age, right? And then they came to about zinc, and then titanium, and then if you see boron, calcium, magnesium, all were recently found, and aluminum was also recently found. So that's how they found the metal. It's not that one day they found everything. It's our ancestors who did research, and based on their experiments, they found all these metals. So the common metals which we use is gold, which is silver, copper is this kind of color, zinc, then you have aluminum, you must have seen aluminum in your home, iron, little blackish, then you have sodium, then you have magnesium, then you have potassium, you have calcium, then you have cobalt, and then nickel. So these are the common metals that are used. I just took the slide just to make you familiar with the look and feel of the metals. Gold looks like this, a very different look. Copper is this, the silver is this. These things we are generally aware, but these metals are something which are not much aware. So it's better to have a look and feel of this. This is sodium, right? And if you see, this is the look and feel of most of the metals. So it's better that we just have a look at least once, so that we can visualize the metals. When I talk about sodium, you can visualize the sodium looks like this. When I talk about magnesium, you can visualize the magnesium looks like this. When you talk about nickel, you can visualize something like this, right? Thank you. Visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thanks once again.